Seemed like forever, and it's only been 15 minutes, and we are live. Hey, everyone. I don't know if all of you had this problem, but there was technical issues with AirMeet for the first time. This did not happen in the past. So we have our next speaker, Dan Currin, to talk about the co-founder of OrgChartHub. And hey, we are back, all of you back. I wonder what's been happening with you. Were you just hanging there, all the attendees? But hey, we have about 14 minutes left. Dan, I want to give you everything that, the 14 minutes left. And hopefully we'll hear back from you very, very soon as well, sometime in the next summit.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Natalie. I'll speed up a little bit because obviously we've run out a little bit of time. Let me share my screen. Good to see everyone. And put this on full screen mode. There we go. So yeah, thank you very much for joining the presentation, and thank you, Natalie, for the intro. We're going to get stuck into how to discover the 6.8. Now, you're probably thinking, what is that 6.8 about? Which we will talk about in just a second. Tiny bit about myself. So I am just simply a HubSpot customer sat in front of another HubSpot customer. I'm the co-founder of OrgChartHub and GeoMapper. Our apps are dedicated to HubSpot. We don't work on any other CRM, so we are all in. And I joined the HubSpot community back in 2017 when I worked for another software company called Accrue, and I was their very first sales hire there. I jumped into the community because we were trying to figure out how do we set up the CRM. We were already using HubSpot marketing, and we were trying to get everything going. So we just got a ton of help in that HubSpot community, and we never left. And last year, I actually became a community champion and got this bad boy. So I'll wear it with. So what I would say is, if you ever need any help, jump into the HubSpot community forums. There's a ton of good people in there. And hopefully I'll bump into you at some point during in the next 3 or 4 months or so. So when you probably saw the title of this talk, you probably thought, what the dickens is Dan on about? What is 6.8? So let's get stuck into that in a moment, and I'll talk to you about my experience on the 6.8 and why it's important. And then we'll get to the meat of things of how to supercharge your HubSpot account, specifically on the CRM, how to make sure you get the most of it in terms of discovering the key decision makers. And then also we'll get into how you can manage those key decisions as well. And then finally, maybe we'll have enough time. It's just 10 minutes now, but I'll try and save a bit of time for Q&A at the end. So back in 2014, I had 2020 vision back then, and I was the first sales rep for a company called Accrue. Now, in the first couple of years, so 2014 to 2016, we were trying to figure out, there's 5 of us in the business, and me and the CEO were trying to figure out who are we selling to, where does this product most resonate? And most of the time we were selling to small businesses, and that was my experience prior to Accrue. So I was very used to selling to 1 to 2 people, and that was my sales process, and it was closing out. Around 2016 or so, we actually got more interest from enterprise and mid-market sized businesses. And I had to quickly step up to selling to those size businesses. And I had no experience at the time. And I fell into some traps, which I'll talk about in just a second. Fortunately, as a business, we did figure it out. And these are some of the brands that we won along the way. And that business, Accrue, got acquired in 2019, April 2019. For a good outcome. So fortunately, we did figure it out, and it was a reasonable route. Now, when I discovered the 6.8 was around that 2016 period, I was struggling on the sales front. I was using the old methods. I was still relying on the 1 or 2 people that I was speaking with to get a deal closed, and that wasn't working with the larger businesses, because there is a wider group that make a decision on your product, especially when you go mid-market and enterprise. And I was learning about this through the channel sale, because I got recommended it from a couple of colleagues because they could see I needed it. And it came out in 2016. Now, what the Challenger sale does is it focuses on trying to establish who are the key decision makers that are buying your product and how to align that group. In 2014, 5.4 was the average number of people it took to close out a B2B sales deal. In 2016, the Challenger Sale said it's 6.8 based on their research. That was 5 years ago. In 2021, there isn't a number. No one's published a number. So we'll come back to that on maybe the last couple of slides, because I think we might have an answer on that number, or at least close to. So that Dan back in 2014 stood on the stand there. I wish I'd have taken this advice. So this was some recent advice that a guy called Jason Lemkin put out on his podcast recently. Jason provides investment and advice to many software companies. And his number 3 top simple tip for any sales rep to close out deals is your job for any deal size is to pitch to all the stakeholders and engage all the stakeholders. Don't leave it to risk and only engage with the people that you're most familiar with, and maybe the champion or influencer that you're speaking with, because you can't rely on them to close the deal. You have to engage everybody. So that's with that bit aside, let's go into some of the tips and tricks that you can use using HubSpot. So we've all sent out a calendar invite to a potential customer where you're inviting them to an intro call or a demo. You send it to one person, and then all of a sudden, a flurry of accepts come through. This is your buying group forming. Now, the easy thing to do is to ignore these accepts in terms of not put them inside your CRM. So HubSpot does a very good job of, when you send emails, they're tracked, they're put to HubSpot, and new contacts are put in there. But when somebody accepts your email, that is not automatically put inside HubSpot. So I'm sure most of you are using HubSpot Sales, the plugin. So it's a very simple next step. And I encourage all your sales reps to do this, and your sales development reps. As soon as that accept comes in, do not ignore it. Go straight into the plugin and add them in there, because they are your buying group and they need to be inside your HubSpot CRM so that you can start to understand and form who those individuals are and what what position they're playing in the purchase. Another simple one is using HubSpot documents. It's a great part of the product. And there are some fantastic app partners that have documents as well, like PandaDoc and Quilla. On all of these, the key is to always stick require email address. So the reason for this is what we discovered when we were at Cruise. We actually accidentally turned it off for a while. And when we were sending out proposals, when we turned it back on, what we discovered was there's 1 or 2 or 3 people that just suddenly popped up out of the woodwork when you sent a proposal over. This would normally be a financial officer, for example, who is making a call on your proposal and on your product, but they just haven't joined you on the demo calls or on the intro calls. This is a great way to figure out if there's additional people that are making a decision, but just staying quiet in the background and speaking to some of the people that have been on your calls. Now, what I'm saying is, don't suddenly then jump on that contact and blast away emails at them, but go through your champions and the people that you've spoken to and make reference to the fact that that financial officer, for example, has been looking at the proposal, and see whether you can jump on a call to answer any questions they may have. LinkedIn. As LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if your company has paid for this, please make sure it's integrated with HubSpot. And the one thing I just want to highlight in this one is the team link settings in Sales Navigator. Now, this won't necessarily get you all the key decision makers, but what it will do is probably give you some warm intros. So what it does is it looks at the company, your prospect company, and matches them back to your company and tells you whether there's any other connections that you might be able to leverage. Just speeding up a little bit because we're running out of time. But in terms of managing these key decision makers, if you've not got stuck into target accounts yet, I would encourage you to do so. Target accounts came out last year, a relatively new part of HubSpot. It will help you immensely in terms of understanding who you're going after, the number of contacts that you're working with, and give you an overview. Within that overview, you've got the individual account overview, where you can match the contacts that you're working with, see what your activity looks like, and match it against your internal stakeholders as well, and see how it's performing. Within target accounts, there's a new property called buying role. Now, in the calendar sale, it talks about buying role. So the first step is like understanding who you're working with and who are the key players. The next is identifying their roles within the buying process. So you might have heard of things like champion. I mean, I mentioned it a couple of times, but decision maker, budget holder. And you can tag people up with this inside a HubSpot. Incredibly helpful. Also helps your marketing team send targeted content. We see our best customers on OrgChartHub Hub sending targeted content to budget holders, for example, which can help close out deals and get people aligned. Along with target accounts, you get dashboard reporting as well. There's in there. If you haven't looked in there, jump on it. Everybody loves a workflow, right? So this is one that we picked up from a customer and we put it into our account related to target accounts. This little workflow, you'll hopefully have this presentation, will tell you how to put in place when somebody new comes onto a target account, maybe from some marketing content, it will inform you straight away and give you a notification to say there's someone new, go check them out, see if part of the buying process, see if you need to engage them. So that's a cheeky little workflow for you. As well as managing the accounts, I was lucky enough to write a blog with HubSpot. Based on my experience at Accrue, we created an account plan to establish how we expand the accounts. We created it was an external document. Not long after that, I wish I had created it so it was an internal document. So I actually did that work in 2020. And what we find is our customers do two things. For account plans, so this is where you're really planning out what you're going to do with an account. You can use snippets and put it within the notes field and then pin it to the top. That's what we see some of our best customers do. Or if you're lucky enough to have an enterprise plan, so somebody's spent a lot of money for you on HubSpot, then you can also put it into the side panel. Those are the two ways we see our customers using account plans and putting them inside a HubSpot, and you should really put them inside a HubSpot. You'll want to go to the free template on the blog, but I do encourage you to put it all that data inside a HubSpot. If we go back to the 6.8 now, so 2014, Gartner said it was 5.4. 2016, they said it's 6.8. It's going in the wrong direction for sales reps. And in 2021, we believe the number is 8.2. This is based off of the almost 3,500 companies that use OrgChartHub, and it's looking like now is 8.2. Now, that said, that average is an average. We created a free report, which you're welcome to use. It's called Buying Group Calculator. It says exactly it does exactly what it says on the tin, and it figures out for you your average buying group size by going back through your deal the last 12 months that have closed, telling you what the average is for your closed deals, and it tells you also a lot more than that as well. If it's really important to you in terms of understanding these large accounts, we created OrgChartHub back for ourselves in 2016, made it live for HubSpot customers as well. We've been fortunate in that it's been a popular app and has meant we've managed to go full time on OrgChartHub. If you think that might be of help, we've got free plans on there. You're welcome to join and ask us any questions. We're HubSpot customers looking to help out other HubSpot customers. If you want to get in touch directly, there's my email address, and please connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll see you in the community forums.
Dan, awesome. That was amazing. Thank you so much. You did all of that in 15 minutes, being a little bit more stressed than usual. So thank you so much. Hey, everyone, welcome back to this session. I see some hands, claps and stuff like that here. This was an amazing session. One question, what you were showing previously around mid-session, someone said that this requires LinkedIn Team Sales Navigator, right?
Yeah, there's lots of different LinkedIn integrations that you can have with HubSpot. The one that I just identified is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's just that extra piece with the team setting. But yeah, take a look in that marketplace. There's actually 3 different integrations for LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, hey, everyone, thank you so much. We are going to jump on another session. Hopefully this time it's not going to cause problems. I see a couple of people emailing me. I am going to respond to those emails. But hey, welcome. Glad to to see that you were able to go back live. Thank you so much. And I want to say I'm using OrgChartHub. It's amazing. Yay! Kudos to you guys. Hey, go and check out. I am gonna try and drop the website one more time. It is OrgChartHub.com. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ivan. Thanks, Natalie.
Bye.
Take care.